All right, as you can see, joining us live now with his weekly take on political news from all levels of government, the one, the only, CTV's political commentator, friend of our show, Scott Reid. Scott, good to see you.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, Scott, good to see you. We're not going to talk Canadian politics off the top because there is this breaking news this morning. Dick Cheney, former U.S. Secretary of Defense and Vice President, has died. I know you were involved with the Paul Martin government at the time. Dick Cheney was with the Bush government.
Yes.
Any thoughts or recollections, or it may be a story?
Met a number of times. Met with him in the White House. We had a long 4-hour working lunch. And I was seated next to Cheney, and I can tell you he was a forceful personality. At that time when we met, the thing that I remember most about Dick Cheney was his insistence that Iraq could be reformed and turned into a blossoming democracy. There was this real, genuinely held belief among the Bush administration, and Cheney in particular, that if you gave people there a taste of democracy, that they would gobble it up. And I think it was fascinating, and that it offered you insight into what Dick Cheney believed deep in his soul. But it also, I think, highlighted some of the almost naivete of the administration when they just imagined that American-esque values, if unleashed in other parts of the world, would naturally take hold. And as we know, they did not.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Wow. Interesting legacy.
Would like to be a fly on the wall for that
for
4
sure.
hours.
It was an interesting time. He was a unique personality, very forceful.
Did you like him?
I liked him when I wasn't disagreeing with him. When I disagreed with him, he was not no pussycat.
Okay, I imagine. Okay, turning to the federal government, our federal government now, Scott, the budget coming out at 4 p.m. today. What should we expect? Because not a lot has been kind of drip-fed to us like traditionally. Is that kind of weird to you that we don't know really?
You're right. For about 25, 30 years, the tradition is put out little bits and pieces, measures that give you an idea of where the budget is going. So specific measures are leaked in order to sort of telegraph this is what it's about. By and large, this budget has been telegraphed solely in terms of themes. You know, and like, look, we're going to spend less and invest more. Well, what in hell does that mean? Like, does that mean we're going to get a huge deficit or we're going to get an austerity budget? And the truth is, we're going to get both. I think what we're set to see is a big spending, perhaps a huge spending, austerity budget, because the operations of government, think about the size of the public service, think about grants and contributions that flow from the government to various groups, organizations, and businesses. I think all that's going to be cut back, and maybe cut back severely, tens of billions of dollars. And at the same time, they're going to transfer a bunch of that money and spend, and also increase the deficit, to spend tens of billions on major priorities like defense, infrastructure, and housing. Imagine major projects. So you're thinking energy infrastructure. They're talking about spending money at a level of sort of the 1950s, post-war, saying, look, this is a wartime-like budget because we face a retooling of our economy as a consequence of the changes that Trump has imposed on us.
And so much of this sort of arcs back to the trade war, the Trump tariffs, you know, the ongoing, you know, Trump whims of whether he likes an ad that the province is running or dislikes what someone said about him or his policies, etc. And then that connects to the next level here at the provincial government where, you know, we're hearing about, you know, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, apologizing to Trump for the ad, but then Doug Ford yesterday, the Premier, saying, well, you know, I'm not going to apologize for this ad. There seems to be kind of a rift between the two levels where they seem so close and on the same page for so many months.
That's right. And so, you know, welcome to governing. As you have to make decisions and take steps, we end up in a situation where there's been real differences of opinion between the two leaders. The ad is a spark point. However, today's budget will also highlight something else. Will we get details on what major projects will be funded beyond those announced already? My guess is we won't. My guess is they won't be as specific as saying this project, that project, but they will for certain designate a large sum of money, and I mean tens of billions of dollars, for those major projects. Here's what Ontario will be looking for. Here's what Doug Ford will be looking for, and if he doesn't see it, he'll be sore. And that is, in particular, projects that are his priority as a provincial leader. And you can start with Ring of Fire. He wants a massive injection of capital from the federal government to build those roads, to develop that opportunity, and to try to get at those rare earth minerals. And it'll be interesting to see if the federal budget hints at that, if at least creates the opportunity and possibility for that, or if it's silent on that.
That's interesting that you say that, because Mark Carney hinted that by Grey Cup, which of course is in a week or so from now, we're going to get a few more details on that. But when you announce it today, does that mean there's going to be like billions of dollars with just huge question marks beside it, saying this will be for that, more to come?
I think the government would say, not question marks so much, as exclamation marks.
Okay.
But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, this was one of the open questions. My belief, my guess is the government government will say, when it comes to housing, we are setting aside X billions of dollars. When it comes to major projects for energy infrastructure, we're going to set aside this. And we are now going to tell you what the process will be for the Hunger Games to compete for those dollars. So provinces and sector, you guys go after these dollars. Now, I don't think they'll spell out winners and losers in today's budget, but they will create the pot of treasure and say that is what you have to compete for if you want one of these projects to be financed.
Okay, staying on the Hunger Games theme very quickly, Ward 416, Mayor Olivia Chow, they're having an executive meeting today down at City Hall. She, of course, wants money for housing. They're going to be talking about winter maintenance, FIFA World Cup. But how much of that federal pie do you think the city can be expecting or hoping for?
So what I think you will see, massive investments in infrastructure, maybe even transit infrastructure, or at least has the potential to finance transit infrastructure and housing. So I think you will see money set aside for housing, but it will be just like we discussed. I don't think they're going to say this specific project will get earmarked. Maybe one or two, just as a way, again, of anchoring the budget. I'd really watch for Downsview. There's already been some action from the federal government through this new Build Canada Homes initiative. Will they do more at Downsview? It's a place where you could locate manufacturing, what they call factory housing, these sort of modular homes. Will we see something specific there? Will we see a greater investment for affordable housing that the city will like and respond to? Or will they just say, there's a bunch of money, now you guys have to compete? What you won't get is a massive transfer from the federal government to the city itself, saying Toronto and Toronto alone gets this.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not ward, it's district. That's what they use in Hunger Games. District.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
Not
District
ward.
416.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. And when you emerge from the crowd and raise your hand to take the place of your sister.
I nominate you as tribute.
Yes, I think you are tribute, Jen.
Tribute. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, Scott
Appreciate
Reid,
it, Scott.
joining us
Scott's going
live.
to be on CB24 all day long, pretty much.
I'm going to be having some fun.
And CTV
Lots
as
of
well.
talk.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.